I am probably the most. I don't want to say brand us as a Brexit channel. We're a British politics channel, and the thing is, British politics is at the moment and has been for the past 4 years dominated by Brexit. We can't get away with it. We can't escape it. It will be like, it's the elephant in the room. We can't not talk about it. And hence why pretty much most of my videos on this channel are about Brexit, because it is the most important thing happening in British politics. We just can't escape it. And even after next year, we're certainly not going to escape it either. As we've often said, you know, we are just at the beginning of the beginning. And it hasn't, and that will happen on the 1st of January. And as we've always said, Brexit immediately fails that very morning. When the sun rises upon that day, it will also bring forward a stench of failure. And part of that horrendous stench of failure is going to be the massive amounts of rotting fish that we are going to have to deal with. And as I like to boast about, I have probably talked more about how complex really this issue about fishing is, and gone really into the cause of the problem and what the true cause of the fishermen's really woes are in this situation. We've done numerous videos. Last week we did 2 of them. Go watch them there. They're all about, fishing and how much of a sticking point, and of course, that most fishermen are liars. For here's a nice example. Given the fact that obviously the agreement with fishing ends at the end of this year, the DEFRA, the environmental watchdog of our country, the government's watchdog, decided that it wanted to try and regulate how much fishermen catch. So there was 2 options they were giving them. They were either, you have to pay for us to put someone on your boat, or we're going to chip your boats. And basically the fishermen went, whoa, you can't do that. We can't have you knowing exactly how much fish we catch. And bear in mind, this was not from the big boats. These were the small trawler fishermen, which are very much the nationalistic idiots that they are. They are so obsessed about catching, quote, British fish, even though, again, there's no such thing as a British fish. It's just, fish don't carry passports. They can't see the wood for the splinter in their eye. But this is the situation we're in, and we get here, and this is such a. I'm so conflicted about this article because it's such brimming full of hope. But as we've discussed before, the Brexit fishing industry post Brexit is just going to be absolutely destroyed. Most of what we catch gets exported to the EU, and most of the fish that we eat gets imported from the EU. And there are 3 sections of this. You've got what's called the actual fishing, then there's the landing, and then there's the processing. So there's 3 points here, and you've got 3 people in those different industries who are now going to go talk about their hopes. And yeah, good luck to them. That's all we're going to say. Good luck. So this comes from MSN according to this, but it says The Guardian. So this is Brixham's fisherman's hope. Brexit will tip the scales for a shrinking industry. It ain't going to stop shrinking, I'll tell you that now. Before dawn, the fish market in Brixham stirs into life with a shining silver catch from local fishing boats is unloaded, sorted, graded, and auctioned off to food suppliers and restaurants. This coastal town in South Devon can trace its fishing history far back as the 14th century, and today, thanks to Brexit, it is at the centre of a modern political drama. The UK fishing industry is one of the reasons why London and Brussels are stumbling over a trade agreement. Although business in Brexham is unaffected so far, its fish market has just enjoyed a run of £1 million weeks, where sales in the online auction for cuttlefish, scallops, and more than 40 types of fish have regularly reached seven figures. Standing in one of two Chile sales halls where seafood is inspected and sold, Kevin Dale of Brixham Trawler Agencies, who manages the markets, says the other day we had 30,000 Dover sole. Brexham has become England's largest market of value of fish sold, and the EU its largest customer. Over 70% of Brixham's catch is exported to France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and Spain. However, EU boats also use British fishing waters too, and they want to continue doing so after the 31st of December. This sticking point is one of the reasons for Boris Johnson's claim last Friday that the country would have to prepare for a no-deal scenario if Brussels did not change its general negotiating stance. The economic size of the UK fishing industry is dwarfed by its symbolic importance. According to official data, the seafood sector, which includes fishing, aquaculture and processing, represents just 0.1% of the UK economy and a contribution of just £1.4 billion in 2018. But for Brixham and other coastal communities around the UK, it is vital. Brixham is a special place, says Josh Perks, the owner of Brixham Seafish, who is overseeing a team of rubber-booted workers preparing boxes of hake and gurnards, I think it's actually it, brought at this morning's market and destined for city restaurants. Perks is a sixth generation of his family to make a living from this bountiful waters of Brixham, and says fishing is everything to the town. There are two trades here, fishing and tourism. For this coastal community, and a scattering of others around the UK shores, from Perned on Scotland's northeast coast of Tunuen to Cornwall's southern tip, fishing is a cornerstone. The industry is undoubtedly shrinking, however. It employed just 8,000 people in June of 2020, not counting the self-employed, which is less than half the number recorded in June of 1978, 5 years after Britain had joined the EU. And many in the fishing industry blame EU membership for its decline, believing that Britain got a bad deal when it entered the bloc in 1970s. Fishing quotas and the common fisheries policies and access to British waters for foreign boats have long been contentious. Securing more control of fish in British waters and shared waters was a key promise of the 2016 Brexit campaign. The EU-based fleets catch up to 8 times as many fish in UK waters as British fishermen do in EU waters, according to the UK government data. Once Britain no longer has to follow EU rules after 31st of December, fishermen want Britain to become an independent coastal state. This would replicate the status of Norway and would mean that the UK could control its own waters and hold annual talks on access to UK and EU waters to ensure that stocks are protected and prevent overfishing. Of course, Michael Gove has said no to that. However, the sheer quantity of fish in the UK waters has made it very unpopular with certain EU states, which have a lot to lose. These include France, Belgium and Denmark, whose boats have for centuries fished in the same waters as UK boats. So the Brexit talks are being closely watched in Brixham, even by those who no longer make a living from the sea. I was hoping he'd walk away today, says retired fisherman Andy Ricks. If Boris Johnson gives fishing away, I'd never vote for him again. Not securing a deal will add yet more hardship to vitally important sectors, not at least manufacturing and construction. Said, I think that's from the Darren Jones MP. I don't know, that's odd, that. Anyway, Rick says that quotas are a thicket of regulations, and a thicket of regulations. Go back to last week's video about fish, where we went through the new regulations and the thicket of red tape that we're going to have to go through for trying to export most of our catch to the EU. My face says it all. So Rick says that quotas are a thicket of regulations, divvying up catches by size, location, and type of fish. Where the reason he had to quit fishing and sell his boat in the mid 1990s. He hopes Britain's departure from the EU, with a trade deal or without, will, quote, benefit the next generation. If the money was good, more young people would want to get into it, he says. Others are more circumspect about the impact of no-deal Brexit on the wider economy. Not securing a deal will add yet more hardship to vitally important sectors, not least the manufacturing and construction, says Darren Jones MP, and the Labour chairs of Parliamentary Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy Committee. If ministers are really committed to protecting jobs in the UK, they need to get a deal over the line. Although many in Brixham are firmly in favour of Brexit, the uncertainty is a concern for the fish market's operators. It's frightening to us, says Dale at Brixham Trawlers Agencies, which is busy trying to work out how seafood sales will continue after Brexit. We had information, but it's not clear. We don't know what's needed, and that's just a few months away. And so does every other industry in the UK. But many in the fishing industry see Britain's departure from the EU as a chance for a fresh start. Our aspiration as an independent coastal state is to be put on track to regulate at least some coastal communities, and the fundamental building block is fishing opportunities, says Darry Breeze, Chief Executive of the National Federation for the Fishermen's Organisation. But he warns that additional fishing quotas within sovereign waters would not necessarily lead to an expansion of UK fishing industries. We should see our fishing opportunity. What we should see what our fishing opportunities are. If there is scope to relax the licensing laws and build new boats, we should do it very cautiously. Across Brixham Harbour, on King's Quay, stands a bronze sculpture called Man and Boy, portraying two life-size figures standing at a ship's wheel. If future generations in Brixham are to maintain the town's fishing tradition, Brexit needs to fulfil its promise. And we've been through this many times. There is no way, either way, be a no deal or even if we get a deal. Like, a no deal would be absolutely disastrous, because if that guy's there just saying, oh my god, it's such a thicket of regulations, has he actually seen the regulations he would have to go through to export 70% of that town's catch goes to the EU? 70%. So, what does that town need? That town needs the EU. It needs to be in the single market. It needs to be in the customs union. So, if it doesn't and it gets a no deal, it's going to be absolutely disastrous. And you've got people there going, oh yeah, well, it's been great. We'll build more boats. It'll be fine. No, because we've been through this countless times. In the UK, we do not eat fish as much as we used to. In fact, you can chart this. You can go all the way back to like the First World War, where you had obviously the blockades came in, and the restrictions about Catholics being able to eat on fish on a Friday, and that's another interesting thing as the country has become less Catholic and Protestant and has been more relaxed about those laws. Fish eating has just gone down, while obviously the rise of other things like meat and things like that has gone up. We are not a country that eats all this fish, and if you're somehow expecting to just dump all this fish in the UK, it ain't going to work. And the other thing we need to cover is what's going to happen to all those countries and businesses that bought fishing rights and quotas that have boats based in the UK. What happens to them? They bought those quotas very fair and square, so they will all take the UK government to task, and certainly to court on that. So the reality is that fishing is indeed a shrinking industry, and it's one that We should not, in any way, shape, or form, be sacrificing our entire economy to try and save. Now, yes, the fishing industry does need some help, but not at the expense of our entire economy. Bear in mind what it said there, about 8,000 people were employed. Just look at how many people are employed in our heavy industry and manufacturing industry and say that somehow not having a no-deal Brexit justifies smashing our heavy industry economy, which makes far more money and employs far more people and needs to be in the EU to do things like the just-in-time delivery system. That is something that is yet not found to be a solution. And the UK just becomes less of a profitable venture for heavy industry to set up in. And, that's Brexit in a nutshell. It just doesn't make sense when you look at it from any view at all. It was just a national built on feelings. And, yeah, you may have voted with your feelings, but I'm sorry, you're wrong. And if fishermen think that Brexit is their key to saving their industry, you've been had there, well and truly had, especially by people like Nigel Farage, who have used you as a very, very nice political tool. So, enjoy, guys. I often say we should feel sorry for them, but these are a lot of people who've been continuously arguing against being in the European Union for years, even though it's done nothing but benefit them. So, with that said, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. Please do hit that like and share button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link, should you like to support the channel that way. And thank you very much to the people who do support the channel in that way. Make sure that you are with us tomorrow, bright and early and bushy-tailed, as tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning, roughly thereabouts, we are going to do our Good Morning Walk, where we go over our past week's events. So we'll see you all there. So, with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.